Well, where do I even begin with this Chelsea team? This season, we've seen so much inconsistency, so much lack of leadership, questionable tactics at times, questionable performances from everyone, including like the star players. Just the season's been an absolute shambles. So today, I thought, what better way to make myself feel a bit better than to do a keep, loan, sell video. I've also added a key player section because I don't want some bums in the same category as some people I'm going to be putting in keep. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So, unfortunately for Thiago Silva, uh, he's already announced his future and he's going to be leaving Chelsea. So, I'm going to start the list off with him. And if he didn't make that announcement, I would absolutely keep him. And yes, he wouldn't start every week. Yes, he's in the decline, but I think his leadership is so important for the team, and it's going to be a massive loss if we don't replace him with actual leaders in the summer. Next up, Ben Chilwell. Ben Chilwell. He's had an injury ridden season, as he so usually does. We've seen many errors from him. Poch tried to play him up front as a left winger sometimes as well. And just, it's not quite working. Ben Shaw's best utilised when he's got Reece James on the right in a back three. And I don't think I hate him. I don't know. I've got no agenda against him. I don't have an agenda against many players, if any. And I want to keep him because we don't have our left back options are already limited. If we sell him, then it puts a lot of pressure on buying a left back that works immediately. So I'll keep him because he is the vice captain. Make of that what you will, but the facts remain. He's a vice captain. He's one of the more experienced players we have. He's won a lot with us. He gets to stay next season for me. Levi Colwill. He's had injuries this season as well. He's been utilised as a left back quite a lot. But when he's been at centre back, he's been excellent. Cobham Academy product, solid at the back, questionable performances sometimes, as many players this season have had. But for me, yeah, we're going to keep him and he's going to be a key player. I think we play this guy as much as we can next season without, obviously, not every single game because we don't want him to get injured. But if he's fit, he plays. Reece James. He's had about 3 appearances or something this year. Been very unlucky, very unfortunate with his injury record. He has had the surgery now, though, which we knew he needed to have last season before the season even started, but he chose not to. So I'm glad he's chosen to have the surgery now. And yeah, he seems to be recovering well. He looks healthy in training and everything like that. So I think for that reason, obviously, we keep him, and obviously he's a key player, the captain of the football club. Best, when he's fit, the best wing back, right back in the world, in my opinion. That might be blue tinted glasses, but he's so young and he's got so much potential, and he's already at an elite standard with Real Madrid, keeping an eye on him for the past couple of years. But he's going to stay. He's going to stay at the club, unlike a certain rat. Next, we've got Trevor Chalobah. And it's hard, this one. This is the first hard one because we've seen how solid he is. He had that amazing stat under Tuchel where he didn't lose a lot. Like he lost once or something when he started. And just, I think he works better in a back three than 2 at the back. He's been inconsistent up until the end of the season where he's been putting in performance after performance, really good, really solid. But I'm very aware of the owners, and I have to keep this. I have to balance this, but a little bit between my opinion and what I'm convinced will happen. I'm convinced Trevor Chalobah will leave. I want him to stay, but that depends on our other centre back options and the formation and the manager and everything. So for that reason, I think I'm going to put him in sell, even though I think he's good enough to stay here. Probably not as a starting centre back with Colwill, but I think he's going to be sold. I've just got a feeling he's going to be sold, and he's been linked with moves away all this season. So yeah, that and a combination of, is he necessarily elite? He's he's Chelsea through and through, and I think that alone right now is good enough to get me to want you to stay. But I've got to keep it realistic. Chalobah, time to go, mate. Sorry, pal. We move on to Alfie Gilchrist. Gilchrist is a player that I love the passion he shows. I love how hard he smashes into people when he tackles, and he's just proper old school in that sense. I loved his goal. I loved his celebrations. You can tell he loves the club. He's been here for so long. John Terry rates him highly, and but I don't think he's ready to compete with Malo Gusto, Reece James, or our centre back options. I don't think he's at the level yet. I think he needs a championship or lower Premier League team loan just to like fully toughen him up, get him a full season playing at the English level. So I think for that reason, he's going out on loan. Up next, we've got Angelo Gabriel. I've not seen enough of him personally. I think he's been out on loan all season. So I think just on the basis of that, he's going to go out on loan again. I would like to be proved wrong. Maybe he stays for the pre-season, but I think either way, he's going to end up out on loan. And we're going to move swiftly on to Armando Broja. I like this guy's Chelsea enthusiasm. I like the fact that he's one of us. He knows what it means to play for Chelsea. He always speaks about the standards, but I don't think he's good enough to be a Chelsea striker. And that is a role we've been lacking this season, striker. So for me to say he's not good enough, obviously on loan at Fulham and they're not playing him, I think he's got to be sold. I don't think we give him another loan. I think Chelsea are going to sell him this summer, and it hurts me to say that because I like him as a person. But we've got to start being ruthless if we want mid-table to go away. So I think raise funds for somebody else. Armando Broja's got to go. Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now the realistic outcome is it depends on him, what he wants. If he doesn't want to come back, then the answer is obviously sell him. But I like him. We've had troubles in goal this season. I think I want to keep Kepa, and that depends on what he wants, whether it's more likely to happen than not. But if he wants to stay, I want to keep him. We need. Well, he's shown his qualities in the past. I know he had a rough spell when Mendy came in, but even towards the end of Tuchel's reign, he was playing Kepa instead of Mendy because of his distribution from the back is a lot more confident than Mendy's was. Mendy was terrible with the ball at his feet. So yeah, I want to personally keep Kepa at the club for the next season. Axel Disasi, rock at the back against City in that one game. He's a very passionate footballer. Very you can see the talent that is in there somewhere, but this isn't a case of you can go, he's got potential. He's like 24, 25. He already should be formed into that what he could be. And he's been heavily inconsistent, and he's shown that he can't play with a ball at his feet. He can't distribute it. He's more of a no-nonsense centre-back, as we saw in the game against City. I think I want to give Disasi another season. I think it's too harsh to want to get rid of him already. I want to keep him around. But as a backup, he provides good. As much as I don't like saying this, he provides good dressing room vibes for the rest of the players. They all seem to love him. The fans seem to really like him most of the time. At least the ones in the stadium really like him. So yeah, I want another year out of him. Benoit Badiashile, the most up and down centre back of all time that I've seen at this football club. Oh my goodness. When he first came in, he got his own chant about how good he was, about how Todd Bowley went to France in his Lamborghini and got him. And now it's capitulated this season with injuries and dismal. The worst centre back performance I've ever seen came from this guy, and just wow. I don't know. But then, like the next game, he was very solid and he was the best centre back on the pitch. So I don't know. He's very up and down. Um, I don't think he's good enough to be a key player at Chelsea, but I think I would like him to stay. I don't want to see him leave, but I could see him leaving and I wouldn't be heartbroken. But I personally would like him to stay so we don't have to go out and buy a couple centre backs instead of just one, which I think we will buy a centre back this summer. Carney Chukwuemeka, um, absolute injury ridden season as many players have had at Chelsea this year. Shown glimpses of what he could be, still very young. I think I want him to stay, and I want him to stay in the first team. I don't think alone is going to do us any good because we've already seen what he can be, and Poch really likes him. I think he's just not been fit enough to play 90 minutes. So I would love to see what he can do in pre-season. I'd love to see him used more by Poch because I think this player is something special. I think he's got something that not many people outside of Chelsea can see. And that's, fully understandable because he's barely played. But I really like him, especially in like the 10 position. He's really good at collecting the ball and moving it up the pitch, which Poch seems adamant that we've only got one player who can do that. But this guy, I'm telling you, can do that, Poch. I think we should keep him, and I think we need to work on a game, get him fit consistently, and then we're going to see something special out of Carney. Cassidy, we recalled him, but other than that, we've not really seen much. We've barely used him, even though we recalled him from Leicester. I'm not sure what Leicester fans' opinion of him was, but I've not seen enough of him to warrant me saying keep him. And I don't want him to be sold because I've not seen enough of him for me to say sell him. Loan him out. Get him another loan, one that where he actually plays and we don't recall him for no reason. Christopher Nkunku. So disappointing this year. Not just his not his performances, but the fact that he's been injured for the whole season is just very disappointing. We've got very bad luck when it comes to buying from the Bundesliga, especially attackers, and just I don't know, man. I want to see him get fit. He's currently, Nkunku in training. Just come back from an injury, needs to lose some pounds, get up to his fitness standards. I want to keep him, and I think I want him to be a key player. I don't know where he's going to play in the front line, where he plays in the 10 or a 9, I don't know. But I want him to stay. In the pre-season just gone, we saw his link-up play with Mudryk and Jackson was absolutely excellent, but we didn't have the revolution that was Cole Palmer yet, so I don't know where he fits in. But I want him to stay, and I want him to be a key player. That's just a want. I don't know if he will be a key player, but I think he's got the talent to be one if he stays fit. Now, probably the easiest one on this whole list, Cole Palmer, we're going to sell him. No, I'm just joking. He's going to be a key player. Cole Palmer, do I even need to explain myself further? I'm not going to explain myself further. We need to build the team around this guy up front. Not up front, but, on the right wing. We move on. Conor Gallagher. How this guy has not been given a new contract is absolutely absurd. I don't know how he's not been given a new deal. Keep this guy. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say keep because I really like him as a player. I really like his passion. He's been captain more times than anyone else this season, I'm pretty sure, even though he's not vice captain or captain. So young. Such good work rate. Really lucky with injuries. It's just touch wood. He's just such a Chelsea player. I don't know. I love him. And he's a personal favourite of mine. I want him to stay. I really, really want him to stay. Um, the owners really want to sell him, it seems. Poch really likes him, which is lucky. I just hope he gets offered a new contract. I don't want to see him at Spurs. That would absolutely break me. Datro Fofana. I'm seeing a lot of Chelsea fans say keep him and stick him up front, but realistically, I want to see him out on loan. Or it depends if we don't sign a striker, keep him in the squad. But I want to see him go out on loan again. I want him to have another loan in the Premier League just to see if he's just had a little blip for Burnley where he's been quite good. I need to see more from him for me to consider him as the solution to our striking problems. David Washington. I really like this guy as well. I've not seen him play much, but I really like his attitude. He really wants to play for us. He keeps going on and on about what it means to play for a Chelsea badge, and I've not seen him in the first team barely any times this season. I want him to stay, and I want him to keep playing in the youth setup and being used a little bit more often in the first team. I don't want to see him go out on loan. I want him to keep being around the Chelsea team and just to know what it means, feel what it means. I want him to keep performing in training. I want him to keep his head down, stay straight, and keep working towards breaking into the Chelsea first team. I want David Washington to stay. Jordi Petrovic. Oh my god. So up and down this season. It's been unreal. I'm gonna make this easy and say keep, but I don't necessarily want him to be the first choice for the whole of next season. I think between him and Kepa would be great to see. Gabriel Slonina. Don't know how you say that. Let's loan him out. Don't really know much about him, but don't think he's ready. I would have heard more if he was ready, Loan him out again. Easy. Enzo Fernandez, one of my favourite Chelsea players. Been playing this season for over 6 months with an injury, a hernia. He's had the operation now. He's going to be fit enough for next season. Key player. We've got to get him clicking with Caicedo in midfield. Let's move on. Amari Hutchinson. This guy, currently on loan at Ipswich, I believe. We've got to keep this guy. He has got to have a place in this squad. He's been so good, especially towards the latter stages of the season for Ipswich. I know it's a championship, but Reece James was at Wigan before he was out on loan at Wigan before he joined up with Chelsea. And look at the instant impact he had under Frank Lampard. Keep this guy, play him. Let's move on. Leslie Ugochukwu. I've not seen enough from him. I want him to be loaned out just to prove himself somewhere else, I don't think he's had the luck with injuries to be able to have proven himself in the first team. He's had a couple good solid performances earlier on in the season in cup games, but for me, he's got to go out on loan. That's only if we buy another DM, though. So it really depends on what Chelsea do in the transfer window. So, but yeah, I want to see him out on loan in anywhere really. Just get him playing a full season of him being in a first team. I want to see that. Malang Sarr, sell him. Poor guy, man. Bought him in on a free under Roman Abramovich. That's how long ago it was. And not seen anything of him. Get rid of him now. Don't hate him, but for the sake of his career, just sell him. Get him back to France or somewhere where he can enjoy his football and have some good time, earn some money. Yeah, we don't need him. Malo Gusto, another one of my favourite Chelsea players. We got to keep him. Absolutely sensational at right back. For us to not have missed Reece James immensely has been incredible to see at the right back position. Malo Gusto is one of, if not the best right back youngster in world football, I believe. And that might be blue tinted glasses, but I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm allowed to say that. Genuinely is an immense talent. Brilliant. Whoever the scout was that brought him in, brilliant work. Mark Cucurella. It's always hard to say this stuff about a hard-working footballer, and especially a hard-working, expensive footballer of Chelsea Football Club, but he's not been good enough. He's been exceptional when he's been played further up in a back three, but that's happened like once or twice this season. He gets absolutely rinsed by skillful wingers week in, week out. Gives away penalties, scores own goals. Mark Cucurella, mate. Time to go. I think we sell him, buy another left back, because quite frankly, I'm out of patience, and I'm sorry, pal. You had your time here. It's time to go somewhere else and recapture your form, mate. Bettinelli, uh, never plays. Good third choice. I see a lot of interviews in the dressing room where people really like him. I want him to stay just to be that third choice, and he provides much needed vibes, if you can use that word. You know, what I imagine to be a pretty shitty dressing room, if I'm honest, because, we're Chelsea, we're ninth. Not good enough. Moises Caicedo, I think he's been our third best player this season. Cole Palmer's obviously been the best. I think there's an argument for Gallagher's probably been really good as well. But Caicedo is a key player for us now, and I think the media is finally starting to see how good he's been. He's been our most consistent performer since the incident at West Ham. He had a rocky few first games, but ever since then he's been so consistent, and just, yeah, he's been up there with Cole Palmer in terms of consistency. I think he's going to be a key player for us, and he needs to stay a key player next season. That's 100%. He needs to be there. Diego Moreira, I think that's how you say his name. I've not seen enough of him. Don't even know if he's at the club right now. He might be, but he might be on loan. I'm not sure. I want to see him out on loan. Don't think he's ready for the step up. And we've got Amari Hutchinson, who is ready. So for that gateway in particular, let's get him out on loan. Let's see what he can do. And then we reevaluate next season, in my opinion, or in January. Mikhailo Mudryk. This is probably the hardest one on the list, because Mudryk, I don't know, that he's got something about him that I just really do like, but he's also got something about him that I just really hate. I love his attitude. Talent's nothing without hard work. I think he understands what it means to play for Chelsea, but I don't think he's necessarily good enough without confidence. When he's playing for Ukraine, he's a whole different player, at least from what I've seen when I've watched Ukraine, like the 3 or 4 times I have this year. He's just plays with so much more freedom, which is strange because we have so much freedom in Poch's system, and he's not thriving. I think Mudryk is in the Poch's system performs so much better in the number 10 role. He scored a brilliant goal to take us through against Newcastle. Scored the goal against Arsenal. Obviously had that Liverpool cameo last season as well. I think if I'm being completely ruthless, I say get rid of him on loan or sell him. But there's a part of my heart that just wants to keep him and keep giving him another chance. But I don't know how long that's going to last. My patience will eventually run out. Mudryk, keep him. But I think this year has to be the year he proves it, this coming season. Otherwise, it's time to go, pal. Nicholas Jackson, one of my favourite Chelsea players. I've said that about a few players, but I love Nicholas Jackson. I think not many people know that he was never a striker before the latter stages of his time at Villarreal, I think it was, where he got moved to striker and had a really good vein of form for them at the end of the season. And then his first full professional season in his career as a striker was this season. And he's done really well. I think if somebody said he's going to have this many goals in the Premier League in his debut season at the start of last season, I think you would have took it. And yes, he misses chances, and yes, he does this, and yes, he does that. But I think he's so consistently our best attacking outlet, especially in the games where Palmer goes missing, which is very rare. But Nicholas Jackson doesn't go missing. Only his finishing goes missing, which, he is a striker, so we've got to keep that in the back of our minds. But I think we see the best of Nicholas Jackson when he's on the left wing. And I think if he just continues to adapt his work in England, he's going to be absolutely elite next season or the coming season after that. I think we keep him, and I want him to be a key player. And I know there's quite a few key players now, but yeah, I love Nicholas Jackson. Let's move on. Noni Madueke. This is another tough one, but for me, not really, because we've seen, without a doubt, he's willing to do the nitty gritty hard work, especially towards the end of this season. We've seen it. He's willing to go the extra mile defensively and attacking wise, and very skillful, very talented. Obviously, that's why he's at Chelsea. But his mentality, his attitude, the laughing when Thiago Silva was crying on the pitch after we lost against Man City, when he's laughing with Jack Grealish, that attitude has got to go. That attitude cannot be allowed to spread in this club like a virus. And for me, he's got to get rid of it. Full stop. He has to get rid of it. And I think he's already adapted enough as a person to have that in his personality. I think he's got to go. Or he's got to go out on loan or something. I don't know. He's got to stamp that out of his game, or he has to leave. And for me, just get rid of him. Not worth it. Get someone else who actually will represent the badge better and won't laugh when we get knocked out for semi-final. Anyway, Raheem Sterling. He's already said he wants to stay. And yeah, me personally, I think I want him to leave. But if he wants to stay, then I don't think we're going to force him out the door. So I think we will keep him. But I personally want to see him gone. It's not worked. His move from Man City has not worked. And I don't know what the reason for that is. But the final balls of him, when he plays the final balls, are absolutely terrible. Decision making's terrible. Yes, he's got that dribbling element about him. Yes, he always shows up against Man City. But for me, for the wages he's on, I think he's the highest paid player at the club. No, he's got to go for that. And yeah, we gotta start being ruthless. He is experienced, of course, and we need all the experience we can get. But for me, talent-wise, he's got to go. We move on. Robert Sanchez. This one's I'm being harsh here because I can't keep 4 goalkeepers. I am being very harsh in saying that I don't hate him, but I would like to see Kepa instead of him. I think I think we should look to get rid of him, not force him out. But I think he would be open to a move out because Petrovic has kind of taken his number 1 spot and Kepa's coming back. I think he would be open to move out. He came in expecting to be the number 1 the whole season, and because of injuries and how good Petrovic was initially and how bad Sanchez started to be, Poch doesn't trust him as the number 1, and I think the fan base don't either. So I think for the betterment of his career and the sanity of Chelsea fans, I think it's time for him to go, even though he's just signed with us. Now, oh my goodness, Romelu Lukaku. Right, okay. Well, we're gonna make a whole new row here. We're gonna make a whole new row. Oops. I've accidentally renamed that one Lukaku, yep. I've ruined the whole video. No, we're gonna make a whole new row for Lukaku because yeah. Do I even need to explain myself really? Lukaku. Let's move on. Romeo Lavia. Uh, Most obvious, probably one of the most obvious ones on the list. Just been injured all season. We're going to keep him. I want to see what he can do. Saw him at Southampton. It was very solid for his age. He needs to do it in a Chelsea shirt now. Main thing is he needs to stop being bloody injured all the time. Let's move on. Andre Santos. Really depends again on who we sign in midfield, but I personally want to see him go out on a full loan this time instead of going to Forest and then going somewhere else. I want to see him Prem team where he's guaranteed minutes, not like Forest where it went horribly wrong for him. I want to see him go out on loan. Yeah, let's move on. Wesley Fofana. He's a very good centre back, and I think he's probably our best centre back at the club, even with Thiago Silva. But he's never fit, so I think it'd be stupid of me to put him in key player because he's gonna get injured again. I think I want to keep him, but he's gonna get injured again. So yeah, Ziyech. I don't even know why Ziyech's here because I think he's already confirmed going, so I'm just gonna slap him in sale. And there we go. Now, I know this won't happen. This definitely won't happen, but the things I'm like unnegotiable about, the things that must happen, Lukaku must leave. He must go. I don't care how much money we get. I don't care anything. A little sniff of this guy near the dressing room, and I'm protesting. I'm absolutely going ballistic squid on this bitch because Lukaku cannot be given another chance. I'm seeing Chelsea fans saying Lukaku's second chance redemption arc. He's already had his second bloody chance. We bought him back. We paid 100 mil for him, and he came and did an interview saying he loves Inter Milan. Get his ass to Inter Milan, the broke ass bitches in the Serie A. Get his ass over there, or ship him off to Saudi Arabia. Anything but Chelsea. Get him out, terminate his contract, do anything. I'm not budging on that. Don't care if we don't have a striker. Get him out. Another thing I'm not budging on is the fact that Conor Gallagher deserves to stay. They really want to sell him to Tottenham for 50 million. I don't care if we get 100 million, okay. 80 mil, I don't care. Reject. If it's like crazy stupid money, of course. For any of our players, crazy stupid money, we've got to consider it apart from Reece James. But Gallagher, he must stay. He must be given a new deal and he must stay at Chelsea for me. Yeah, so those are the ones I'm not really budging on. Oh yeah, Amari Hutchinson. This guy better be in this team next season. He's earned it. How he's performing, how well he's performing on the wing at Ipswich, and how bad our wingers have been performing this season, especially the left-hand side. This guy's got to be given a go. It literally makes sense. It's the only logical solution. We keep this guy and we play him. He's a youngster who's performing really well. It's literally what we're looking for. We've got to bring him in. We've got to keep him in the squad. No more loans. Keep him. And other than that, there's not really much I'm budging about anymore. Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is my personal opinion. Going to make a transfers one as well. Ideal transfers. That should be fun, right? Yeah. So thanks for watching. If anyone even made it this far, like and whatnot, and stick around for more pointless tier lists. Sorry, they're not pointless. Bye.